Petticoat Junction charmed television audiences when it premiered in 1963, bringing a warm blend of small-town humor, lighthearted storytelling, and the unmistakable charm of the Shady Rest Hotel. With its lovable characters, family-friendly comedy, and the unique setting along the Hooterville Railroad line, the series quickly became a classic of 1960s American TV. Decades later, fans still look back with nostalgia and curiosity, wondering how the actresses behind the Bradley sisters, the unforgettable Uncle Joe, and the rest of the Hooterville gang changed after their time on the show. From career shifts and personal milestones to lasting legacies that shaped the golden age of television, the cast's real-life journeys remain just as fascinating as the show itself. Join us as we revisit the Petticoat Junction actors then and now, and celebrate the enduring charm of this timeless classic. Linda Henning played Betty Jo Bradley, the youngest of the three beautiful and capable Bradley sisters, who actively helped her mother run the Shady Rest Hotel and the nearby water tower, starring in the successful television series Petticoat Junction, 1963 to 1970. Henning was 19 years old when the series premiered, born September 16, 1944. Betty Jo was initially characterized by her tomboyish nature, her preference for overalls over dresses, her practical skills with machinery, and her close involvement with the local Hooterville world, often working on the Cannonball train. Her life before the series was profoundly influenced by her familial connection. She is the daughter of series creator Paul Henning, establishing her as a young actress who brought a genuine, committed rural charm to the role, having grown up surrounded by the show's concept and production, and she became one of the key faces of the rural sitcom era. Betty Jo's character arc was the most significant of the sisters. She was the only one to undergo a complete naturalistic transformation, on screen evolving from a naive tomboy into a capable married woman and mother, by the end of the series eventually marrying the handsome flying crop duster pilot, Steve Elliott. Linda Henning, currently 81 years old, remains active today, often involved in preserving the lasting nostalgic legacy of the classic rural sitcom era. Frank Cady played Sam Drucker, the reliable, long-suffering, and highly pragmatic proprietor of the general store and post office in the fictional town of Hooterville, starring in the television series Petticoat Junction, 1963-1970. Sadie was 49 years old when the series premiered, born September 8, 1915. Sam Drucker was characterized by his patient dry wit, his position as the central hub of community information and gossip, and his perpetual bewilderment by the extreme eccentricities of the local residents. His life was defined by a steady career as a familiar character actor, and crucially by his unique status as the only character to consistently appear across the three popular rural sitcoms, Petticoat Junction, Green Acres, and the Beverly Hillbillies, establishing him as a symbolic bridge between these interconnected television worlds. Sam's primary role was to serve as the voice of normal modern reality and professionalism in the absurd Hooterville environment, often providing the logistical necessity for plot development and interacting with characters from all three shows. Frank Cady passed away on June 8, 2012, at the age of 96 due to natural causes. He was laid to rest at Mount Calvary Cemetery in Eugene, Oregon. Edgar Buchanan portrayed Uncle Joe Carson, the perpetually lazy, utterly charming, and highly eccentric proprietor of the Shady Rest Hotel, starring in the enduringly popular television series Petticoat Junction, 1963 and 1970. Buchanan was 60 years old when the series premiered, born March 20, 1903. Uncle Joe was instantly characterized by his absolute firm aversion to any form of profitable or useful labor. His habit of spending the vast majority of his time lounging languidly on the hotel porch in a hammock, and his endless, often convoluted schemes designed solely to avoid any and all manual work, establishing him as the humorous, lovable, yet utterly frustrating patriarch of the Shady Rest. His life before the series was built upon a long and distinguished career as a familiar character actor, originally trained as a dentist before transitioning full-time to acting in the 1930s, establishing him as a beloved performer, often typecast in westerns, comedies, and dramas as eccentric, good-natured, and genuinely rustic men, famously linking the popular rural sitcoms by appearing in guest roles on both the Beverly Hillbillies and Green Acres. Uncle Joe's primary role was central to the series' laid-back charm, providing a consistent element of rural slowness and comic inertia that contrasted sharply with the worldly ambitions of his nieces and the modernity symbolized by the passing of the cannonball train. His schemes often involved misplaced entrepreneurial endeavors that inevitably failed due to his own laziness. Edgar Buchanan passed away on April 4, 1979, at the age of 76, following a lengthy and successful career that cemented his image as the quintessential good-hearted old man of television. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, California. Rufe Davis played Floyd Smoot, the friendly, easygoing, and utterly reliable conductor of the Hooterville Cannonball train, which famously ran directly through the Shady Rest Hotel's water tower, starring in the television series Petticoat Junction, 1963-1968. Davis was 57 years old when the series premiered, born December 6, 1908. Floyd Smoot was instantly characterized by his patient calm and reliable demeanor, his memorable whistle signaling the train's arrival, and his unique role as the primary physical connection between the remote insular community of Hooterville and the wider modern world. His life before the series was rooted in an extensive career as a vaudeville performer-singer and actor, establishing him as a seasoned entertainer known for his folksy charm and gentle comedic timing skills. He translated perfectly to the gentle comedic role of the conductor. Floyd's primary function in the show was logistical and atmospheric. He was the reliable transportation system, the essential mail delivery person, and often the first source of news, famously stopping the cannonball train right on the hotel's water tower to let the Bradley sisters board. Rufe Davis passed away on December 13, 1974, at the age of 66 due to heart failure. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, California. Bea Benaderet portrayed Kate Bradley, the kind, pragmatic, and resourceful matriarch of the Bradley family, and the steady manager of the rural Shady Rest Hotel, starring in the successful television series Petticoat Junction, 1963-1968. Benaderet was 57 years old when the series premiered, born April 4, 1906. Kate was instantly characterized by her warm maternal affection, her clear-headed sensibility, and her tireless effort to run the hotel and manage the various schemes of her brother Uncle Joe while steering her three daughters toward responsible futures. Her life before the series was exceptionally distinguished, establishing her as a beloved veteran actress, known particularly for her extensive work in radio comedy, her role as the neighbor Blanche Morton in the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show, and her original iconic voice work as Betty Rubble in the animated series The Flintstones. Kate Bradley served as the essential stabilizing force of the series, providing the common sense that kept the Shady Rest functioning despite its eccentric inhabitants and the constant threat of the railroad shutting down the cannonball train. Bea Benaderet passed away tragically during the show's run on October 13, 1968, at the age of 62 due to complications from lung cancer. She was laid to rest at Valhalla Memorial Park Cemetery in North Hollywood, California. Mike Miner played Steve Elliott, the handsome, resourceful crop duster pilot who quickly became the primary romantic lead in the series, and later played the minor role of Dan Plout, joining the cast of Petticoat Junction in 1964. Miner was 23 years old when he took on the central role, born December 7, 1940. Steve Elliott was instantly characterized by his boyish charm, his competence as a pilot who frequently visited Hooterville for work, and his rapid integration into the community despite his more worldly profession. His life before the series was built upon a career as a singer and actor, establishing him as a performer with musical talent and a charming screen presence, who also appeared in the related Paul Henning production, The Beverly Hillbillies. Steve's primary role was to fall in love with Betty Jo, leading to the show's most enduring and significant romantic storyline that culminated in their marriage and the eventual birth of their child, providing a necessary stable vision of young adulthood for the youngest Bradley sister. Mike Miner passed away on January 25, 2016, at the age of 75 due to complications from cancer. He was laid to rest at Riverside National Cemetery in Riverside, California. Laurie Saunders portrayed Bobbie Jo Bradley, the middle of the three beautiful and capable Bradley sisters, who actively helped her mother run the Shady Rest Hotel, joining the television series Petticoat Junction in 1963, although she famously took over the role from the original actress Pat Woodell, beginning in the third season. Saunders was 22 years old when the series premiered, born October 4, 1941. Bobbie Jo was characterized by her dreamy, somewhat naive personality, her tendency toward romantic imagination, and her status as the gentle, often slightly less pragmatic contrast to her sisters possessing a memorable passion for reading and often quoting literature. Her life before the series was built upon an early acting career, establishing her as a performer who became a familiar and charming face in 1960s and 1970s television, notably appearing in the related Paul Henning production, The Beverly Hillbillies and the Western Dusty's Trails, cementing her presence in the interconnected Hooterville television universe. Bobbie Jo's character arc focused on her gentle, often humorous pursuit of various local romantic interests and her growth into a young woman, providing the show with storylines centered on young love, artistic aspirations, and the preservation of innocence. Laurie Saunders, currently 84 years old, remains closely associated with the iconic rural sitcom era, having been a consistent and beloved presence on television during the period. Pat Woodell portrayed Bobbie Jo Bradley, the original actress, to play the middle of the three beautiful and capable Bradley sisters, starring in the successful television series Petticoat Junction, 1963-1965. Woodell was 19 years old when the series premiered, born July 12, 1944. Woodell's Bobbie Jo was initially characterized by her dreamy, somewhat romantic naivete, her burgeoning intellectual curiosity, and her position as the quiet contrast to her more outgoing sisters, providing a youthful, charming element to the Shady Rest Hotel. Her life before and during the series was built upon an early acting career, establishing her as a performer who quickly became recognizable in 1960s television. But her tenure on the show was marked by her pivotal decision to leave acting and the entertainment industry entirely shortly after her run, pursuing a successful and extensive career in business and corporate consulting. A surprising and definitive transition for a TV star of the era. Woodell's initial departure necessitated the recasting of the role, but her performance laid the foundational emotional blueprint for the character. Pat Woodell passed away on September 29, 2015, at the age of 71 due to complications from natural causes following a distinguished career in the business world after leaving the screen. She was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, California. Meredith MacRae portrayed Billie Jo Bradley, the eldest of the three beautiful and capable Bradley sisters, who actively helped her mother run the Shady Rest Hotel, joining the cast of the television series Petticoat Junction in 1960s, famously becoming the third actress to take on the recurring role after having a prior guest appearance. MacRae was 22 years old when she joined the cast, born May 30, 1944. Billie Jo was characterized by her growing sophistication relative to the small town of Hooterville, her artistic and intellectual interests, and her often dramatic romantic aspirations, all while remaining deeply devoted to the family's rural way of life. Her life before joining the series was marked by a steady acting career, including a notable role in the popular sitcom My Three Sons, establishing her as a charming and experienced performer who, after the original series concluded, successfully transitioned into becoming a respected talk show host, notably co-hosting The Rona Barrett Show and various syndicated programs, demonstrating her considerable versatility. Billie Jo's character arc focused heavily on her pursuit of a professional singing career and her various romantic entanglements, providing plot lines that consistently highlighted the tension between Hooterville's idyllic simplicity and the more complex possibilities of the outside world. Meredith MacRae passed away on July 14, 2000 at the age of 56 due to complications from cancer. She was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, California. Charles Lane portrayed Homer Bedloe, the perpetually frustrated, highly officious, and utterly memorable vice president of the CNFW Railroad, who serves as the show's primary recurring external antagonist, starring in the successful television series Petticoat Junction, 1963-1970. Lane was 68 years old when he took on the iconic role, born January 26, 1905. Homer Bedloe was instantly characterized by his high-strung, stern, and bureaucratic demeanor, his meticulously neat suits, and his singular, obsessive, and morally unambiguous mission to shut down the quaint Hooterville cannonball train and efficiently liquidate its unprofitable rural line. His life was defined by an extraordinarily long and prolific career spanning over 60 years in film, television, and radio, establishing him as one of Hollywood's most instantly recognizable and dependable character actors, consistently cast as fastidious, unyielding, and often officious professionals, clerks, and small-time bureaucrats. Bedloe's primary role in Petticoat Junction was narratively crucial, serving as the central external source of conflict. His repeated futile attempts to close the line were constantly and hilariously thwarted by the quick-witted, resourceful Bradley family, often through magical-seeming coincidences, accidental sabotage, or Uncle Joe's elaborate, nonsensical schemes, ensuring the persistent charm of the Shady Rest survived. Charles Lane passed away on July 9, 2007, at the remarkable age of 102, due to complications arising from advanced age, leaving behind a legacy as one of the longest-lived actors in Hollywood history. He was laid to rest at Mount Sinai Memorial Park Cemetery in Los Angeles, California. Jeannine Riley played Billie Jo Bradley, the eldest of the three beautiful and capable Bradley sisters, and was the original actress to take on the prominent role in the popular television series Petticoat Junction, 1963 or 1965. Riley was 21 years old when the series premiered, born October 1, 1940. Billie Jo was initially characterized by her striking glamour, her strong intellectual curiosity, and her often dramatic romantic aspirations, embodying the sophisticated, slightly ambitious side of the Bradley sisters, who occasionally felt constrained by the quiet pace of Hooterville. Her life before the series was built upon an early career in acting and modeling, establishing her as a charming youthful performer who quickly became a familiar face in 1960s television, having a notable role in defining the original look and demeanor of the eldest sister. Riley's portrayal defined the character's early narrative focus on seeking a singing or acting career outside of Hooterville, providing plot points centered on the tension between ambition and home. Jeannine Riley later appeared in various films and television shows, including the Paul Henning production Dusty's Trail and the film The Big Mouth. Jeannine Riley, currently 85 years old, is closely associated with the early defining years of the iconic rural sitcom era, having established the blueprint for the eldest sister's character. Roy Roberts portrayed various guest characters, including the businessman Norman Curtis and the official figure game warden Horton Hughes throughout the long run of the television series Petticoat Junction, beginning his appearances in 1963. Roberts was 57 years old when he began his guest spots, born March 19, 1906. Roberts's characters were consistently characterized by their recognizable, often authoritative or executive demeanor, frequently playing a successful businessman, a corporate official, or a pragmatic professional figure who provided a key contrast to the laid-back chaos of Hooterville. His life was defined by a long and substantial career as a character actor, establishing him as a familiar, dependable face in both film and early television, with credits including the film My Friend Irma, 1949, and crucially, a recurring role in the related Paul Henning production, The Beverly Hillbillies, cementing his presence in the interconnected world of the rural sitcoms. Roberts's roles in Petticoat Junction provided necessary plot development by bringing the outside world's bureaucratic logic, occasional business demands, and urban perspective into the tranquil setting of the Shady Rest Hotel, often clashing humorously with Uncle Joe's extreme aversion to work. Roy Roberts passed away on May 28, 1975, at the age of 69 due to complications from a heart attack following a long and impactful career. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, California. June Lockhart joined the popular television series Petticoat Junction as Dr. Janet Craig in 1968, stepping into the ensemble cast in the show's later years to help fill the significant void left by the passing of the original matriarch, Bea Benaderet, Kate Bradley. Lockhart was 43 years old when she took on the role, born June 25, 1925. Dr. Janet Craig was characterized by her intelligent professionalism, her gentle wisdom, her warm demeanor, and her role as the local female physician who took up residence at the Shady Rest Hotel. Her life before the series was defined by an extraordinarily successful and iconic career, establishing her as one of the most beloved figures in family television history, known globally for her starring roles as the devoted mother in Lassie 1954, 1970, and the scientific matriarch Maureen Robinson in the original Lost in Space, 1965 and 1968. Lockhart's addition brought considerable star power stability and a new element of modern professionalism to the later seasons of Petticoat Junction, serving as a steady, reliable maternal and medical presence. June Lockhart passed away on October 23, 2025, at the remarkable age of 100 due to natural causes following a life that spanned nearly a century of Hollywood history. She was laid to rest at Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City, California. Parley Baer portrayed various figures of authority and bureaucracy, including Bailiff Vince Tucker and Judge Turner, in crucial recurring guest roles in the popular television series Petticoat Junction, beginning his appearances in 1965. Baer was 51 years old when he took on the supporting roles, born August 5, 1914. Baer's characters were consistently characterized by their professional, often dry and measured demeanor, providing the necessary grounding in legal and institutional reality that contrasted sharply with the chaotic, whimsical, and illogical nature of the Shady Rest Hotel and its inhabitants. His life was defined by an extraordinarily prolific career spanning decades in radio, where he voiced Chester on Gunsmoke film, in television, establishing him as a performer whose voice and face were instantly familiar to American audiences, notably known for his supporting roles in countless TV shows, including The Andy Griffith Show and the procedural Western Gunsmoke. Baer's roles in Petticoat Junction often placed him directly in the court or legal setting, serving to illustrate the external world's confusion and occasional formal scrutiny of the eccentric Hooterville community, often resulting in humorous, bureaucratic frustration. Parley Baer passed away on November 22, 2002, at the age of 88 due to complications from a stroke following a long and impactful career. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, California. Jack Bannon played various young male characters, including Roger Budd and Tommy Johnson in Guest, and supporting roles in the popular television series Petticoat Junction, joining the cast in 1963. Bannon was 23 years old when he took on the early roles, born March 14, 1940. Bannon's characters were characterized by their youthful charm, their energy, and their involvement in local social and romantic activities, often serving as young men interacting with the Bradley sisters or members of the wider Hooterville community. His life before the series was built upon early acting work, establishing him as a young performer who, after his guest spots on Petticoat Junction, went on to achieve significant and lasting recognition for his starring role as the earnest, reliable Art Donovan in the acclaimed dramatic television series Lou Grant, 1977-1982, a performance that showcased his versatility across genres. Bannon's career demonstrated a steady transition from light television comedy to serious dramatic acting. Jack Bannon passed away on October 25, 2017 at the age of 7 due to complications from a stroke. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, California. Hal Smith portrayed various memorable guest characters, including Mr. Richardson and Jug Gunderson, in recurring roles in the popular television series Petticoat Junction, beginning his appearances in 1965. Smith was 46 years old when he began his guest spots, born August 24, 1916. Smith's characters were consistently characterized by their slightly eccentric, familiar, and sometimes flustered demeanor, often providing a touch of authentic, low-key rural humor to the Hooterville setting. His life before the series was built upon an extensive and iconic career, spanning radio, television, and voice acting, establishing him as a beloved character actor, best remembered for his iconic recurring role as the perpetually inebriated Otis Campbell, the town drunk on The Andy Griffith Show, and for his prolific voice work in numerous popular cartoons, including the voices of Goliath in Davy and Goliath, and various characters for Disney and Hanna-Barbera. Smith's roles in Petticoat Junction added flavor and realism to the local community, demonstrating his versatility beyond his most famous roles. Hal Smith passed away on January 28, 1994, at the age of 77 due to complications from a heart attack. He was laid to rest at Woodlawn Cemetery in Santa Monica, California. Hank Worden played various eccentric local figures, such as the quiet, unusual Roy Turlock and the simple-mannered Luke, in recurring guest roles in the popular television series Petticoat Junction, joining the cast in 1966. Worden was 65 years old when he began his appearances, born July 23, 1901. Worden's characters were instantly characterized by their unusual, often silent demeanor, Their distinctive weather-beaten appearance and their deep, genuine connection to the rustic rural life of Hooterville, embodying the community's quiet, strange charm. His life before the series was built upon an extensive, decades-long career as a highly recognizable character actor in Western films, establishing him as a legendary performer often cast in the classic films of John Wayne, including the iconic pivotal Western The Searchers, 1956. Worden's presence in Petticoat Junction provided a touch of authentic, nostalgic Western flavor and eccentric local color, reinforcing the show's rural setting and providing a gentle comedic contrast to the show's main family. Hank Worden passed away on December 6, 1992, at the age of 91 due to complications from a brain tumor. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, California. Vaughn Taylor played various guest characters, including Mr. Foley and Mr. Bill Clayton, often representing businessmen or external authority figures throughout the popular television series Petticoat Junction, beginning his appearances in 1966. Taylor was 64 years old when he began his guest spots, born July 22, 1912, and passed away on April 26, 1983 at the age of 70. Taylor's characters were consistently characterized by their familiar, often slightly nervous demeanor, and their professional appearance serving to link the rural Hooterville community to the corporate outside world. His life was defined by a steady and highly recognizable career as a familiar character actor in Hollywood, establishing him as a dependable performer who appeared in countless films and television series, often specializing in playing nervous small-town managers or authority figures, including iconic roles in films such as Alfred Hitchcock's psychological thriller, Psycho 1960, and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, 1958. Taylor's roles in Petticoat Junction provided necessary plot development by bringing the outside world's bureaucratic logic, occasional business demands, and urban perspective into the tranquil setting of the Shady Rest Hotel, often clashing humorously with Uncle Joe's extreme aversion to work. Vaughn Taylor passed away on April 26, 1983, at the age of 72 due to complications from cancer. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, California. Shirley Mitchell played Maybelle Jennings, a character who appeared in a guest role, likely representing a local acquaintance or a visiting social figure from the neighboring towns in the popular television series Petticoat Junction, joining the cast in 1967. Mitchell was 48 years old when she took on the role, born November 4, 1919. Maybelle Jennings was characterized by her contribution to the social and domestic atmosphere of Hooterville, often involved in the local gossip or social gatherings. Her life was built upon a substantial career as a character actress, particularly in radio and television comedy, establishing her as a familiar face, known globally for her memorable recurring role as Lucy Ricardo's friend Marion Strong in the iconic sitcom I Love Lucy, a performance that cemented her place in television history. Mitchell's appearance in Petticoat Junction added a layer of comedic charm and veteran acting talent to the ensemble, reinforcing the show's focus on community life. Shirley Mitchell passed away on November 11, 2013, at the age of 94 due to complications from heart failure. She was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, California. J. Pat O'Malley portrayed various eccentric guest characters, including the transient figure The Hobo and the slightly mysterious Murdoch Sneap, throughout the popular television series Petticoat Junction, beginning his appearances in 1966. O'Malley was 62 years old when he began his guest spots, born March 15, 1904. O'Malley's characters were instantly characterized by his immense versatility, his ability to embody quirky, memorable figures, and his unique voice acting talent, which often infused his on-screen roles with a playful narrative quality. His life was defined by an extraordinarily extensive and versatile career spanning stage, film, television, and most notably voice acting, establishing him as a performer whose flexible voice made him a legendary figure in animation, providing voices for countless projects, including beloved Disney classics such as Alice in Wonderland 1951 and The Jungle Book 1967, securing his place as a versatile character performer across multiple media. O'Malley's roles in Petticoat Junction often involved transient characters who briefly passed through the Shady Rest Hotel, adding charm, humor, and a sense of the wide, colorful world outside of Hooterville. J. Pat O'Malley passed away on February 27, 1985, due to complications from a heart attack following a long and impactful career. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, California. Who's your favorite character from Petticoat Junction? It's always tough to say goodbye to beloved cast members who are no longer with us. How does that make you feel? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you're enjoying our content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated. We appreciate having you in our community.